Past and future. I recently did a retrospective for a poetry a feature based on the theme of fork in the road. In it, I tried to address how I got from an apartment dwelling city denizen working on Wall Street as a technology executive to someone living in the boonies with a wife, two cats, and a dog, feeding squirrels, birds, chipmunks, deer, and groundhogs, and writing poetry. The analysis, a study in making a plan and then letting life happen, that led me to narrow the possible reasons for my being here to the real answer. I fell in love with, I fell over heels in love with a Philadelphia princess who always wanted a bond. Now that I understand the past, I can move on to the future. But since I don't know how long the future will be, will there be accidents or illnesses? What will happen in a country or world? Do we have enough income to continue at present? I just have to ride it out and see what happens. Plans don't work anyhow. And then I wasn't going to read this poem, but when David just talked about his dream, I went back to grab another poem that reminded me from what he said. Arise. I was just getting settled and dozing off. It was comfortable, although a little damp, when I heard a strong voice yell, "Get up, come out here." And then others joined in. A lot of people are yelling. I sat up, put some clothes on, and stood rather stiffly. I made it to the door in darkness, opened it to blinding light. People more than I ever seen started cheering and yelling. What do these people want of me? Why were they yelling? That was 3 years ago. Now I have more than I ever thought, an agent and the bestseller, and I'm on this wonderful book tour. Okay, let's begin. As you know, the book title is I'm Zombie, and my name is Lazarus. And then we move to something for the seasons. What's special about autumn? I don't get it. Why does autumn have two names? I understand fall as in leaves falling, but what about the other seasons? They should have two names too. Spring could then be called bloom, and summer could be called hot, short for too fucking hot. And winter could be cold, short for what you get it. It all seems fair to me. What about you? And then we'll move on to something that I've had a lot, pain. I woke up this morning with a terrible case of plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis, yes, plantar fasciitis. Not the worst thing one could have by the long sight, but still very painful. Pain hurts to be sure, but it has some value. It can make us think of how much worse it could be. We could have terrible illnesses or even be dead. We could even think of this and recognize pain's value. Fuck it, it's easy to curse and scream. And then we have another pain one. Arufura, that's A-R-F-U-R-A. I have what's been medically diagnosed as a really fucked up right ankle. It started as a basketball casualty, and then was escalated by arthritis, and later got even by rolling enough to rupture the tendon in my leg. Then I grew up the bone spur, 50 years after one kept Trump out of Vietnam, but did not stop him from grabbing him by the pussy. Such is life, I guess. And then when a skill becomes a memory, the memory of it consumes me. It is not only in my brain, but deep in my soul. I throw a good head fake and drive hard to the basket, or pull up for a jump shot and get nothing but net. That was then. This is now. The ankle that has propelled me toward the basket into the air is now one big arthritic bone spur. The knees and the hips are also damaged goods. I'm often supported as I walk the dog with a cane. So what takes the thrill of the nothing but net? Well, I wrote this poem. Speaking of poems, poem on demand. I'll make this my last one. We're sitting around talking about an upcoming 5th anniversary party, and someone came up with the bright idea that I should write a poem for the card. What am I, fucking Hallmark? But they have watched Joyce Carol Oates to dash off a short story. or Stephen King to come up with the short novel? I didn't say any of this, of course. I simply demurred. I don't do poems on demand, but there was cajoling, asking, and pressure, and until I capitulated. So here's your fucking poem. Happy anniversary, and thank you for putting up with me.